I'd love to, but welcome to Huddle for Success. I'm Duane Gibbs. Alongside me is my partner, Mark Bruce, the Hall of Famer. We come to you each and every Monday with a new episode. With that being said, let's huddle up. Hey, I
Good
love
morning.
to. I
Yeah.
love to, but
Yeah, it's kind of like the old phrase when you go into the store and some salesperson comes up and says, "Can I help you?" Nope, I'm just looking.
I'm just looking.
I'm just
Yeah,
looking.
I don't know if everybody knows that. Maybe
I guess with Amazon, people don't go to the store that much and get accosted, but or I mean, I think I ran into it on car lots too. I would go to a car lot
yeah,
and I would just be looking and I'm just looking.
just look. Yeah. So we come across this phrase all the time, people that we work with on a daily, weekly basis, and everyone says, I love to, but I'd love to start my own business, but I'd love to get healthier. I'd love to read more. I'd love to take a vacation. I'd love to, I'd love to spend more time at home gardening, whatever that is, but I'm just too busy. And so, I think it's interesting that everyone says that because I can tell you, I was one that said that all the time as well. Until you slow things down and you realize that everybody has the same 24 hours in a day. So let's talk about whether people really have time or they have a problem of not recognizing the time. And because I think it goes much deeper, I just did a clarity breakthrough with a client, and the whole time on day one, under the assessment, they said time, 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 time was a problem. Time, time, time. And at the end of day two, they realized it wasn't time any longer. It was fear. And she knew that, hey, it's really not time, it's fear. So there's always an underlined situation, I believe, that you're able to, you just can't because something else is holding you back. So I want to unpack that. What do you say, Mark?
Absolutely. Yeah, that's a great example because I remember when I had my tanning salons and I would tell people I don't have time. I'm work. I gotta be there. I gotta do this. I've got to fix that. I've got to be the person that's there all the time. And then I've read this book, The 1 Minute Manager, how to be the one, how to delegate and how to find other people to help you do things. There's always a way to find more time.
Yes.
Well, and
And
you don't find more time because like you said, we all only get 24 hours. It is a matter of priority, I think.
so that's the first question I have to you. And that is, do you think that people really have a time problem or do they have a priority problem?
Oh, it's without a doubt a priority problem because you know you do the things that you make that are important to you, and the things that are important to you maybe shouldn't be the things that are important to you at times. A lot of times there are people that just need to stay busy all the time, and they need to be doing something, and that's doing is very important, but you can get wrapped up in just making sure that you're doing something and not take the time to plan it out and to think and to make sure that the things that you are doing are the highest priority that will get you to your goal the fastest.
No
The first,
question.
the first step's not finding more time. It's deciding what's truly important.
Yes.
So, why do you think, Duane? Why do you think I'm too busy has become almost everybody's default response?
I think it's kind of like you said, just looking. It's the new busy has become the new badge of honor, even when um it isn't producing meaningful results. Sometimes when you say I'm busy, feels more comfortable to admit versus I'm afraid to do that, or I just, I, I just, I just don't have the time to do it. That takes the new place of it. They don't have the answer. They don't want to look foolish. They don't want to admit that they just don't want to do it. And I believe, I believe that people put themselves in a position of where they just don't want to admit something. I haven't made it in a priority, like you said earlier, or I haven't made it important enough for me to make a decision. We often confuse movement with progress. And I just, I
Yep.
just think, I think it's a problem.
Yep. I agree.
How does the first A in our 5A framework assessment help someone who feels overwhelmed?
Well, the the main way that does it is when you assess where you really are, it lets you know where you're starting from. When we talk about all the time. I use the example when you're using a GPS trying to find directions to get to a place, to get to your goal, to get to your goal destination. You've got to know where you're starting from, or it never draws that blue line to where
Yes.
you're going. Most people are surprised by how much time is lost to distractions, to interruptions, to low value activities. I mean, I'm even guilty of it at times. We post on Facebook and we post on LinkedIn, and I can't tell you. Sometimes I get into make a post and I see something that grabs my attention, and then I go down this little hole. And if I were more focused, I would ignore the shiny object and get right to the making the post and then back to what was important to me.
Yeah.
So awareness begins with an honest observation, not judgment, just an honest observation of where you're starting from. You in Think and Grow Rich, which is my favorite book, it teaches that desire is the starting point of all achievement. How does that connect with being too busy?
I think when the desire is strong enough, people naturally find a way. Weak goals lose momentum, desire every single time. They just, it just happens. A burning desire changes priorities because it changes what you're willing to do to resurface. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I mean, you got to give something up in order to to replace it with
May
something.
Yeah, or should it be a burning desire? A burning desire changes priorities because it changes what you're willing to sacrifice.
That could be that's probably a better way to put it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Thanks. Thinking in the results talks about paradigms. Your favorite word. It is becoming my new word. How do paradigms influence the way we spend our time?
It is actually Bob Proctor's favorite word, which I thought was very silly, and I know you did too. Because it's weird. I always when
Never
I
heard
hear
it,
it when I
and
hear it
it's
now,
but it's so meaningful now.
it
Now
is.
that
It's
I hear it,
Yeah, it's easier to say because in my mind, I first had to convert it to thoughts and beliefs. Paradigm is thoughts and beliefs. Paradigm is thoughts and beliefs. But it is just so much easier to say your paradigm
yes,
than your thoughts and beliefs. But your thoughts and beliefs do create automatic routines that run without you thinking about them. That's what a habit is. That's what your paradigm is the multitude of habits that you have. And if you want to change results, you've got to start by changing your subconscious habits. Don't get up, don't tell yourself you're gonna only eat 2,000 calories today and you've already had 2,000, and all of a sudden you get up because it's late at night and you need that ice cream. You've got to change that habit. So changing results starts with changing your subconscious habits,
I love it.
and that's what you've got to do.
Yes, I love it.
So another one of my favorite books, not my favorite but close, is James Clear's Atomic Habits. And he says that we don't rise to the level of our goals. We fall to the level of our systems.
Hmm.
What systems help people reclaim their time?
I would say start each day by identifying the one most important task before opening emails or getting on social media.
Yes.
Build small, repeatable habits instead of replying on motivation. Uh, protect, I would say, protect focused work time the same way you'd protect an important meeting. And what I mean by that is you having a serious meeting that you're going into would be important because hey, I got to make sure I'm ready for the meeting. I've done my due diligence. I know what I'm going to say. I know how much time I have, and you make that special meeting a priority. I think you need to do the same thing with your workday, with your personal time. And if you can start treating just like if you had to go to your kid's soccer game and you know that you got to be there today by 5 o'clock. That's important to most parents. Hey, I don't want to miss this. That's very important. Treat every task that you have as your kid's soccer game. And I think that once you start making different tasks that you have a priority, like your kid's soccer game, or if that's not it, if you have a meeting with a client that you know is going to be the biggest producing account you've ever signed, treat each task that way. And
Yeah.
I guarantee you that different results will happen.
Absolutely. If we ask our clients all the time, hey, what are your priorities? And then, what's your goal? What's your desire? And then now let's look at your calendar and see, does that reflect that? Time block your calendar for your tasks.
Yes. So, question for you. The 1 minute manager emphasizes empowering others. How does delegation fit into this conversation?
Well, a lot of people, and I'm going to condemn myself on this one, a lot of people that are small business owners. And actually, I even heard other clients say, I can't let somebody else do it. I can't train somebody else. It'll take too long. I don't trust them to do the work. You've got to trust and you've got to delegate. And
That's tough.
yeah, and it is hard. It will take longer at first. It will take longer to train somebody to do what it is that you do because you've had experience. But by,
Especially if you're an A-type personality where
oh,
you're just a control freak and you have to do it. I know that sometimes you like
yeah.
things certain way. I like things certain way, but you just have to have that communication and say, okay, you're better at this. You personally are a lot better at things than I am.
And vice versa. No, I mean, it just, and yes, you do need to find people and put the people in the right seat on the bus, but nobody's indispensable. And you are a great leader if you teach others how to be good leaders. And that's your job, is to replace yourself. If you can replace yourself, you've done your job. So, um, in the science of getting rich, um, Wallace Waddles, he
Say
he
that
he
5 times.
Wallace Waddles, he wrote that successful people act a certain way. What habits separate productive people from people that are just busy?
I think they intentionally choose their day instead of reacting to it.
Yes. Yes.
I think high performers focus on high impact activities instead of trying to do everything. they consistently ask, is this moving me towards my goal today, next week? Is it changing the outcome if I do it all, or if I just focus on the meaningful things that I know that'll get us further down the road, and then delegate in different areas. You as a task manager, you as a business owner, you as a parent need to, I think, need to have all that in mind. um I think that's important.
Yes, absolutely it is.
um what's one particular change someone could make this week to create more time?
Well, if somebody tells me that I don't have enough time,
Hmm.
my first question is, so what do you spend your time doing? What is it that's taking up most of your time? And a lot of times I'll get a look and they don't know. So the first thing, if you don't know, is track your time. Write down, I don't know if, you know, hope maybe nobody knows, but if you're a lawyer, when you're a lawyer, you track your time by 10 minutes so that you can bill your clients. Well, do that for a day. Do it for a day, maybe 3 days. Track your time. Just make a list and say 9 a.m., 9:15, 9:30, 9:45. And each time the clock ticks, just jot down what you're doing. See where you spend your time.
Question, or can I interrupt one
Absolutely.
second?
Sure.
When I used to do training, I before, well, at some point throughout the 3 days, I used to talk about non-productive time, because it would always come up, well, I don't have time to do this, or I don't have time to do that. And so I would have everybody take out a piece of paper, and I would have them put down um, how many hours a day did they watch TV? How many hours do they spend on social media? How many times do they work? What are the hours of this? And so they would pass the paper in, and then I would have somebody, we'd add up all the times. And it used to be watching TV and social media, we considered that as non-productive time. And a national average in a 40-hour work week, national average across the board from coast to coast, top to bottom, was 18 and a half hours in non-productive time a week.
Yep.
18 and a half hours non-productive time.
Yeah.
That's insane. That's insane. So, I mean, and that we didn't do that exercise just 1 year. I was in the training business 30 years. We would do this exercise for years, and it became the norm. It was about 18 and a half, anywhere from 18 and a half to 22 hours
And
in
that's
a
just
week
that's
of
just TV. That's not counting social media these days, because I imagine you could add
yeah.
another big chunk of time for that.
Oh, no question.
So,
I
eliminate
didn't mean
one.
to interrupt you.
Well,
Sorry.
no, you led right in, because the next thing I was going to say is eliminate one unnecessary commitment or distraction. What if you took those 18 hours of TV time and you spent an hour a day studying?
I did hear on NBC News. I watch that 6:30 every night, and I'll tell you, they said smoking, a national average of people smoking has gone down. You know why? What it took in its place?
No, what?
Social media.
Replace smoking, huh? I'm not sure which is worse for you, to be honest.
Can you believe that?
I had an uncle that smoked like he smoked a couple packs a day, and until cigarettes became $2 a pack, and
I
then he went.
remember my aunt saying, "I'll never pay a $2 a pack of cigarettes." What are they now? And so I think
Oh,
out in California, they're like $9, $10 a pack of smokes.
I don't,
I don't know, but
yeah. Anyway, so
crazy.
Anyway, so all
Sorry.
right, Dwayne, if somebody's listening, if somebody listening keeps saying, "I'd love to, but I'm too busy," what's the biggest message that you'd want them to hear?
I would say stop asking, where can I find more time, and start asking, what am I willing to stop doing?
Yes.
I would tell people, I would always hear that I don't have time and I don't have the money. And I would always say the things that you want the most are the things that you have to give up first. If you want more time, you have to give up some time. Meaning, I want to go on vacation and I want to be able to go for 2 weeks. Okay. So tighten up your time, do what you have to do so you're in a position that you can go on vacation for 2 weeks at a time. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I mean, they say we become what we think about all day long, and if all you think about all day long is I don't have enough time, guess what? You're going to spend all your time thinking you don't have enough time.
Yeah, exactly. So the life you want isn't built by finding extra hours. It's built from making better choices, better decisions with the hours and the times that you already have. Clarity creates priority.
Yep.
Priority creates action. Action creates true results.
Amen.
Anything in closing you want to talk about?
No, I think it's been a great episode. I think we hit on a lot of good things, and I hope everybody can eliminate their butt. I mean, I'd love to, but
Yes. Love it. Hey, we appreciate you, the listener, tuning in each and every Monday for a new episode. Like, share, leave a comment. We love the comments. Keep them coming in. Also, share it with somebody that you feel that can benefit from this. Always go to huddleforsuccess.com, download our playbook for life. Also, if there are things that you're stuck with or you're looking to create more time, but you just can't find it, you know what? Go to the section to where you're able to schedule an appointment with us. You'll take a quick little survey, fill it out, submit it. We'd love to talk to you. And you're able to do that at any time. So, with that being said, Mark, good seeing you. Thank you for today's episode. Great topic you came up with. And we look forward to talking and seeing you all again on the next episode, Huddle for Success. With that being said, stay huddled up.
Thank you for tuning in to this week's episode of Huddle for Success. If you found it helpful and want to support others on their journey, share this podcast, leave us a rating, and drop your thoughts in the comments. We'll see you next week on Huddle for Success. Stay huddled up.